It's awake.
You think I don't feel it too? The pull of something ancient, something wrong crawling beneath our skin. I've seen what's coming, Selene.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The return of the Underworld franchise has once again ignited excitement among fans who have followed the saga of vampires, Lycans, and the eternal struggle between immortality and vengeance. Underworld 6 is one of the most talked about upcoming dark fantasy action films, and after years of silence, the discussions surrounding its future are once again alive. The series has carved its legacy with its unique gothic tone, stylish action, and the unforgettable presence of Kate Beckinsale as Selene, the fearless death dealer. This next chapter promises to push the boundaries of the universe even further, diving into deeper mythologies and uncovering the hidden pasts that shaped the world of blood and darkness. The last installment left the story open-ended, with Selene ascending to a higher power after surviving yet another bloody conflict. The vampire covens were in ruins, and the Lycans, though diminished, remained a constant threat. Underworld 6 is expected to explore the aftermath of these events, where Selene's transformation and newfound strength could either unite the remnants of her kind or create even greater divides among them. The story is being teased as one that will explore the balance between evolution and extinction. What happens when immortals are pushed to the brink of survival and forced to question their own existence? One of the most anticipated aspects is the return of Kate Beckinsale herself. Fans have been vocal about not wanting a reboot or a spin-off without her, and all signs point to Beckinsale reprising her role once again. Her portrayal of Selene has become iconic, blending cold determination with underlying humanity that has made the character stand the test of time. Alongside her, discussions have also centered around the possible comeback of Theo James as David, whose leadership role and emotional depth in the previous films made him a standout figure in the newer generation of vampires. The film could also introduce fresh faces, younger immortals or hybrids born in the aftermath of the last Great War, setting the stage for a generational shift within the Underworld universe. Visually and tonally, the Underworld franchise has always been defined by its dark blue hues, rain-soaked battles, and industrial Gothic architecture. Underworld 6 is expected to maintain that signature atmosphere but upgrade it with modern cinematography, practical effects, and a grittier realism that fits the darker emotional tone of the new story. The world will likely expand beyond Europe, this time showing how the vampire and Lycan conflict has evolved globally. There are whispers of new covens rising in distant lands, along with rogue factions that refuse to adhere to the ancient rules. The conflict could become more political and layered, as the fight for dominance becomes not just physical but ideological. Thematically, Underworld 6 might also explore Selene's personal evolution. After centuries of fighting, loss, and betrayal, her journey could now focus on redemption, legacy, and the search for peace in a world built on chaos. There's speculation that the story might involve her daughter Eve, who was a central figure in Underworld, awakening but was absent from the later film. The reunion between Selene and Eve could provide both emotional depth and new narrative possibilities, a powerful mother-daughter dynamic set against the backdrop of an apocalyptic supernatural war. The next generation of vampires may not share the same motivations as their predecessors, creating new conflicts between loyalty and freedom. In terms of tone, the movie is rumored to return to the horror roots that defined the early Underworld entries. While later films lean more toward action and science fiction, the new installment might bring back the mystery and terror of ancient bloodlines, forbidden rituals, and primal transformations. The tension between the monstrous and the human will once again take center stage. The Lycans, who were once treated as beasts, could evolve into more intelligent, strategic adversaries, no longer just savage enemies, but a species seeking to redefine their identity and power. There's also discussion about the film's potential setting in a world that's slowly discovering the existence of these hidden creatures. The veil between the human and supernatural worlds has grown thin, and humanity may begin to play a more active role in the conflict. This could add a new dimension to the story, What happens when the myths of vampires and werewolves are exposed to the modern world? The consequences could be catastrophic, forcing Selene and her allies to either hide or fight for their survival in a new kind of war. Behind the scenes, the production has seen numerous updates, with the creators aiming to balance fan expectations with a bold new direction. The challenge for Underworld 6 lies in preserving the essence of what made the franchise a cult favorite: the tragic romance, the brutal battles, and the haunting world building, while evolving it into something fresh and relevant for today's audiences. The action sequences are expected to be more grounded yet intense, focusing on character-driven combat and emotional storytelling rather than pure spectacle. The special effects, particularly the transformation sequences, are likely to use a mix of practical makeup and digital enhancements to deliver a more visceral experience. Fans are also curious about the villain of the next film. Every Underworld entry has introduced a powerful adversary, and the next one might bring forth an ancient vampire elder or a resurrected hybrid from forgotten bloodlines. The conflict could transcend simple revenge or dominance and delve into prophecy, destiny, and the cyclical nature of violence between species. There's even the possibility that Selene herself may become the hunted, as both vampires and Lycans turn against her for the chaos her actions have caused over centuries. Musically, the Underworld franchise has always featured haunting electronic and orchestral blends that mirror its gothic mood. The next chapter could continue this tradition with an updated soundscape, darker, more melancholic, and emotionally resonant. The score will likely emphasize Selene's loneliness and strength, echoing the film's exploration of identity and immortality. This kind of atmospheric depth has always been one of the series' greatest strengths, giving it a distinctive aesthetic that separates it from other supernatural action franchises. As for the larger narrative universe, there's a possibility that Underworld 6 could serve as a bridge toward future stories or spin-offs. The creators may use this film to set up the next phase of the Underworld mythology, potentially passing the torch to a new protagonist while honoring Selene's legacy. The concept of hybrids, beings that combine the strengths of both vampires and Lycanas, could be expanded further, possibly introducing new species, ancient secrets, and the origins of the immortal curse itself. This opens endless creative opportunities for the franchise to evolve into a cinematic universe rich with lore, characters, and mythic themes. In essence, Underworld 6 isn't just another sequel. It represents a continuation of a saga that defined a generation of dark fantasy cinema. It's a return to the cold, rain-drenched world where love and loss are eternal, and every drop of blood tells a story of survival. Fans who have followed Selene's journey from vengeance to transcendence are waiting for a finale that will give her story the closure it deserves, or perhaps open the door to a new era of immortal warriors. The excitement surrounding the project continues to grow as audiences hope to once again witness the timeless battle between darkness and light, fangs and claws, immortality and humanity, brought to life in all its shadowy beauty.